A cult leader and his followers accused of violating quarantine.
After more than a year and a half, an accused cult leader
reported cult leader
developing
Mr. Eligio Bishop isn't a cult leader and he doesn't have a cult. Where did the idea of Eligio Bishop being a cult leader come from? Well, with Mr. Bishop having the big heart that he has, when he took it upon himself to be on his own spiritual journey in the beautiful nature of Central America, he then started to open up his personal home to others who were also interested in his lifestyle. Everything was fine until this one particular person came into Mr. Bishop's life.
That's where you have Sun Ray. Ray's here. Wait, isn't Nature Boy a prejudice? Isn't he racist? How does he have white people there? Reflection. Here is one that doesn't have the archetype hardware, but has the archetype software.
After Kayla Reed, also known as Sun Ray, joined Mr. Bishop's life, her parents started to make a big deal out of it. They contacted Canada News, which is where she's from, and things started to go left.
Nature Boy.
Each individual holographically. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the girl that we know as Kayla now. How is she? Is she safe? Is she healthy? Sun Ray.
Oh, Sun Ray, yes, she is healthy. She is beautiful. Oh my, Sun Ray is just, she is the happiest that she says she's ever been, you know, and she's absolutely loving life. And she did a video recently on, you know, we all encouraged her to go live so that people wouldn't be so worried about her. We all encouraged her to just go live and let people know that you're okay and speak your own mind and tell them what's going on. I told her that, you know, the police were calling, looking for her and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I made sure that she got in contact with the police station there in Canada. I also made sure that she got in contact with her mother, and I encouraged her to just contact them because, you know, I don't mind her living with me. I don't mind her living with me. And she's good. She's a friend of mine. She's a family member of mine. We treat her with nothing but love, and we treat her with nothing but love. And it's her decision to be here with me and live as I do, and that's her right. But at the same time, I also know that I'm a black man, and she's a white girl. She's in a white girl form, and I'm in a black man body. And I also know that it might seem to the world that I'm holding her hostage, and that I'm the world already, the media has already depicted black men to be, you know, violent and destructive and scary. So I wanted to make it clear that, you know, call your people, let them know you okay, because I don't want no problems on this end. You come into my world and I allowed you here. I don't care. I don't mind. You're my friend, and she's allowed here. But what won't happen is the dragging of me and what I stand for. That's what won't happen. So I made sure, because I don't want any problems. That's why I'm doing this interview with you, because I don't want any problems and I don't want any issues. So basically, that's what she did. She contacted the police station to let them know she was safe. They seen her on video, the investigator, and she did a live video in front of addressing Canada. So the word is out that I am somebody controlling or manipulating her mind. And so I wanted to make that clear that that's not the situation at all. Reflection.
So she can leave if she chose to leave.
Oh yes, like nobody that comes here, I asked to come here. Everybody that's here just tapped into my station, felt like what I was saying was true, and decided to join me. And even in the joining process, I screen people because I know that my astrological energy doesn't get along with everybody. To get where I'm at around me, one would just have to basically vibrate at the same frequency. So you would have to come to me. I'm not recruiting anybody.
Her family made such a big deal and made Mr. Bishop look terrible online, so they came down that the best decision for her was to just leave.
So, yeah, I'm going back to Canada mainly because of the safety of us. I don't want anybody getting hurt because I'm here. So I'm gonna go back there for now until I get things straightened out.
Why don't you tell them why you left in the first place? Did I call you like, hey, come join us, be here with us? Am I controlling or manipulating your mind?
I was gonna leave Canada even before I found nature. So
you actually tried to, and
I just felt like I belonged here. That's why I came here. Like my heart just felt like this is my family, so that's why I came here. got put on pills because I want to leave.
So
And-
basically, her family, you know, she's saying that her family just basically put you on medication because you try to leave. Like she tried to go to Hawaii before she got here.
Yeah,
Now, I didn't know this. I didn't know, but I did ask her before she got here, do you have crazy parents? She was like, well, they don't matter. I'll throw my phone away, because we had someone here else that was white that got snatched out of here before. If you want to join Nature Boy, you're not allowed to join me anymore. What you are allowed to do is do what I did. I'm leading by example. That's all I'm doing. My culture is nature. They're trying to depict me in the media as someone that is dangerous, someone that has stole their white daughter. If they can get people to believe that I'm holding Sunray against her will and that I'm a cult member and I'm a dangerous black man, the media wants to depict me as someone that is dangerous, that stole someone's daughter, that is controlling her mind, manipulating her mind, because they know that I speak the truth, and now she's speaking the truth.
After Kayla Reed left Mr. Bishop's life, he was now portrayed on social media as a cult leader. And once he was put out there as a cult leader, this sparked the interest of BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, coming all the way to Costa Rica to develop a story about Mr. Bishop, which then further put his name out there as a cult leader. Notice how this huge broadcasting corporation titled this documentary as Cults, Gangs, and God, further painting this image of Mr. Bishop being a cult leader.
I came across these news stories online about Kayla, the woman I just met. It claimed she'd been brainwashed into joining Melanation. The press report said the community was a cult led by Nature Boy. And in Costa Rica, people like Kayla were still following his teachings.
What's Nature Boy like? Because he's quite the character, isn't he?
Yeah, when I watched the video, I felt like I need to be with them. I messaged Nature Boy this exact same day. I was with Melanation within like 2 weeks.
Honestly, of watching the first video, wow. Obviously with all the coverage that came from you, that's when the kind of idea of it being a cult came out. What do you think of that? People saying it's a cult.
I think that Canada's a cult, like the US is a cult, everyone is a part of a cult. Culture is a group of people who have similar beliefs.
I believe it was you and Nature Boy did speak to CBC, and I don't believe you were happy with the way they described what you were doing. Did you feel like they were not being truthful with what was happening with you?
Yeah, I felt like they weren't being truthful about Nature Boy, and it was just to promote fear, really, and that ain't how I roll. So I didn't agree with it.
With Nature Boy and the Etherians, they were described by the Canadian media as a cult. Is that, do they refer to themselves that way, or how do they react to people thinking of them as like a typical cult?
Well, they got called a cult, and then they started to go with it because instead of adding a negative meaning to it, or a negative way of thinking of it, they searched it, and it actually means a way of living, like a way of life. It's not a negative thing, and everything has rules, and everything is a culture, even if we don't want to admit it. Everything, we're all part of a culture.
Essentially, a white woman's parents didn't agree with the choice that she made in her life. They made that a big deal, and the media used that as a way to defame Mr. Bishop's character and paint him as something that he's not. After Canada News, then it was BBC, and after that, a lot of people started to harass Mr. Bishop online in the black community, saying that he was a cult leader, which triggered many others saying he was a cult leader, harassing him, This is where the swatting in Mr. Bishop's online critics began. But now that we have an understanding of where this originated, we're now going to go into what an actual cult is and how Mr. Bishop is not a cult. First of all, no one can join a cult. They are recruited by systematic social influence processes. Vulnerability and recruitment. No one joins a cult voluntarily. They are recruited into it. Everyone who has ever been in Mr. Bishop's personal life voluntarily came and actually had to ask to join. No one was ever recruited. Recruit means to persuade someone to work for a company or become a new member of an organization, especially the army. Mr. Bishop never persuaded anyone to enter his personal life. When Eligio started sharing his journey of how he transitioned from living a Western lifestyle into being more indigenous to the land, a lot of people gained interest in his way of living.
JD said, we're in Honduras and how can we join you? Not just anybody is welcome, so you need to be hollering at me, like talk to me, because I'm not really just letting anybody just come, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand what you coming in, jumping into, because we're going to be out in nature. I'm nature boy. Well, we ain't inviting nobody to come live with us. We're not inviting nobody. Nobody said, oh, no. If you join Carbonation, that means you join the movement. I ain't asking you to come live with me. I ain't asking people to come live with me that can't live with me. They were putting my life for divine reasons, to help me with the movement. I ain't asking them to come there. I ain't recruit nobody or nothing.
Eligio was like every other ordinary person, just sharing their experience online. His courage to completely change his way of life inspired and influenced many people, just like your average celebrity. With him being a huge inspiration to many, a lot of people did ask to join him with a mutual interest to be more close to nature. With Eligio inspiring so many people, he actually advised people not to join his personal life, but to start their journey on their own.
You're not allowed to join me anymore. What you are allowed to do is do what I did. I'm leading by example.
Which shows his pure intent to inspire people to live a better life, not to make a cult. The next process of cult recruitment revolves around deception and manipulation. Potential recruits are not told the true nature or intentions of the group. With Mr. Bishop being online, people online were already aware of his beliefs and his way of life. Mr. Bishop was always clear and straight to the point about how he lives and why.
This is how Nature Boy live. For right now. Out of a bag. No TV for me, man. I just watch that, I got that Fire Stick, and I watch it sometimes. This is what I eat every day. I don't use a refrigerator, so just drink my water. Water in here, pistachios, water. That's what I do. Always have my window open. This is me. Let y'all into my life. You know, we recycle. That's where the bottles, they going back to recycling. So anything that you give your energy to has power. It can't have no power if you don't give it energy. So I decided to be the change that the planet needs. So yeah, this is my transition before I go into nature and move out of the country.
Therefore, everyone who followed him on social media was well aware of his movement. He shared with the world every one of his steps along the way. Some of the followers on social media going on their own journey and going into nature, and some requesting and asked Mr. Bishop to join his personal life. With Mr. Bishop only knowing these people through social media, he wanted to make sure they fully understood his beliefs and lifestyle before coming into his personal life. The following shows Carbonation's entrance examination, made with the intent to make sure people knew exactly what they were doing upon entering Eligio's personal life. This clearly shows that there was no manipulation or deception. Mr. Bishop was always very frank and straightforward with everyone. The next cult recruitment process is that they typically isolate recruits so they can't get a reality check. First of all, there were no recruits because Mr. Bishop didn't recruit anyone. There was never an isolation. It's simply a movement of living a more peaceful and natural lifestyle, being one with the ecosystem. And this was Mr. Bishop's personal preference. And those who shared the same preferences asked to be a part of Mr. Bishop's life.
You have been giving too much to them. They give nothing back, so don't fuck with them. Yo, they are safe. Sunlight giving me life. Meditation, mountain, peak side. You're the reason for my life.
What you about to do, kid? What you about to do? Ride out.
Another thing that proves that there was no isolation was the fact that everyone who was in Mr. Bishop's personal life had their own social media, and everyone would teach and do creative things on their own platform at any time. Whenever someone decided that they wanted to leave, they could leave. Another false allegation that make people think that Mr. Bishop is a cult leader is that he brainwashes people. But let's take a look at the definition of brainwash. To brainwash is to make someone adopt radically different beliefs by using systematic and often forcible pressure. Mr. Bishop doesn't make anyone go on YouTube, type in his name, and watch his videos and force them to believe what he teaches.
I just want to know why y'all follow me, so people can hear it for themselves. Because a lot of people saying y'all brainwashed. A lot of people say y'all don't got minds of your own. A lot of people saying like, yo, these people he got them brainwashed. And I want to do this video for the public to see, made their own decision to come here. And so I'm asking you in your own words, why did you join me?
Alright, so niggas act like following someone who you consider to be greater than you or a role model is just outlandish. If I want to make $1 million, I need to find a nigga that done made $1 million. If I want to be in shape, I need to find a nigga that's already in shape. I seen somebody that was doing what I wanted to do. I need to go where he is and study up under him, right? Don't that make sense? I don't understand how that following someone is ignorant. Everybody that knows anything has to have some type of a mentor, bro. Come on, man. And I don't understand how people can't see what we're doing here and how great it is. You know what I'm saying?
As you can see, these people agreed with Mr. Bishop's beliefs and his teachings. So instead of the word brainwash, because that requires force, let's take a look at the word influence. To influence is the ability or power to inspire or motivate an individual to act in one way or the other. Another definition is the act or power of producing an effect without apparent exertion of force or direct exercise of command. There's no manipulation, coercion, or quote-unquote brainwashing. These people were simply influenced by Mr. Bishop's teachings. Everyone who entered Eligio's life agreed prior to arrival. It's simply like-minded people coming together to build a new culture more fitting for an indigenous human being. Anyone who wanted to join had to be well equipped and in agreement with everything that Mr. Bishop stood for and the 5 sciences that he teaches. But when you type in Eligio Bishop's name online, you see all of these criminalizing headlines defaming his character. constantly titling him a cult leader and attaching his face to all of the false allegations projected on him. They're trying to create a monster and make him something that he's not. The term cult has a bad connotation due to past events and actions of other people who had abnormal ways of living and who actually committed crimes. But for melanated people, it's something of an empowerment coming from a people that has a recent history of not having their own culture and sense of identity in Western society, turning a bad stigma into something positive and uplifting for our people. And lastly, cults are not illegal. It reads, being part of a cult is not inherently illegal in the United States, as individuals have the right to freedom of belief and association under the law. But while cults themselves aren't illegal, the actions and practices of cults that violate laws can result in legal consequences for the group and its members. Mr. Bishop isn't a criminal and has never committed a crime. When he is found innocent from all charges and false allegations put on him, his exoneration is never blasted or broadcasted in the same intensity as the accusations. Because Mr. Bishop has certain beliefs doesn't mean he's a cult. Calling him a cult leader goes against his First Amendment right, and the state attempting to allow a cult expert witness at Mr. Bishop's trial is defaming his character and breaking the Constitution.
People make their own decisions. You're making me responsible for somebody making the decision that they made. It's not fair. You're saying I'm controlling them because you look at me as a black, strong male figure, and you look at me as somebody as controlling when I'm not. When people want to come into my world and can't control me, doesn't mean I'm controlling them. That means that I live by morals and principles and I don't break them or shake them. I'm not trying to control you. You have every right to go and come as you please. You decided to come here. I'm just saying I don't live like that. That's not how I eat. And if you don't agree with me, then you're not going to be here. And that's fine. You can leave. I didn't ask you to come here. You see what I'm saying? So everybody's doing what they want to do. But just because I'm this big black guy with laws and principles and enforce laws and principles and have control over my own self, I look controlling from the outside because naturally, psychologically, you're trained to look at me as someone dangerous, controlling, and that's just the way society's controlled your mind and manipulated your mind to think. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't ask anybody to come here. People come here because they agree with what I'm about. And because we're in agreement, we coexist. I'm not controlling anybody. You're in control of your life. Period.